Seventh, what if the person raising the doubts is a Muslim? The answer is that initially the doubts in Islam can be categorized into three forms: either weak reports, a hadith that is not authentic, or weak reports, or fallible interpretations, a statement by one of the scholars, or an interpretation by some of the scholars, or a mental concept presented by its proponent over the religious text. These are the sources of doubts in Islam, and here we can ask, how can a Muslim have an issue with a weak tradition or a fallible interpretation or a speculative intellectual concept that they prioritize over the sacred text, while at the same time not paying attention to the countless authentic and established texts recounting the miracles and signs performed by the Prophet, peace be upon him, which were transmitted by the most truthful and precise narrators? In other words, if you accept a doubt, it would be more appropriate to accept all the miracles and signs that conclusively prove his prophecy, peace be upon him. The sign of this Quran, that eternal sign, is the sign of this prophet, peace be upon him, and his biography, which includes signs that can only occur through a prophet. The sign of the glad tidings of him before his coming, peace be upon him, with his name, description, attributes, and the place of his mission. The sign of God's support for him and not having him die except after the religion was perfected and completed. There is no doubt that does not contain within it a sign of the truth of the message. So how can a Muslim raising the doubt not notice the proofs of his prophethood, peace be upon him? And what kind of doubt is this that would upset a Muslim alongside these proofs? The one raising the doubt might say, I am convinced of his prophecy, peace be upon him, but I have an intellectual issue with a certain point. Before you know the answer to your issue, you must admit that this issue stems from an imaginary perception in your mind. One might say, why should I be certain that every doubt, even before hearing a response to it, arises from an imaginary perception or misunderstanding in my mind? The answer is, because with rational evidence, if we assume that a person has a medical degree that gives them the right to practice, and they have an accredited certificate for this, would you doubt that this person is a doctor just because they prescribed a medication you didn't understand? Number, of course, do you doubt that he is a doctor just because a patient didn't reach the outcome you were hoping for after taking the medication? Number, the confirmation of his medical qualification makes you understand that you might not grasp how the medicine works, and you understand that the patient whose recovery was delayed might not have taken the medicine as the doctor prescribed. And you understand that there might be wisdom from God in the delay of his recovery, so you don't let a problem enter your mind as long as you know he is a doctor. Rather, you fully understand that what you do not comprehend from his medical prescriptions is due to the limitations of your mind and lack of knowledge. Isn't that right? This happens in the case of a doctor whose prescriptions are not divinely inspired in the first place, yet you justify everything you do not understand from his prescriptions. What about the prophet who receives revelation and does not speak from desire? What about the infallible prophet in whose prophecy you believe? As long as the prophethood of the prophet is established for you and your belief in the truth of his message is firm, then it is obvious that what you do not understand of the revealed text does not harm you. Consequently, you will intuitively realize that your doubt is just a temporary imaginary perception in your mind. So as long as his prophethood is initially established for you, then no doubt will ever harm your faith. So what do you think? Every doubt in Islam has been answered by the knowledgeable and wise people. By the grace of God, they did not leave anything without explaining it to the people. They did not leave any doubt, obscure matter, or anomaly in the religion of God without clarifying it to the people. So just seek God sincerely and look for the response, and you will be amazed at the simplicity of your doubt. If the certainty of the prophecy and absolute truth of the message is firmly established in your mind, every doubt will diminish in your eyes. Your search for a response to the doubt will be solely from the perspective of exploring divine wisdom and gaining a deeper understanding of God's religion. This should be the approach of every Muslim when faced with doubt. Do not let your heart be troubled just because you do not know the answer to a doubt. And do not let those who do not even fully understand their own atheism unsettle you with doubts they cast upon you. And do not let those who are not certain belittle you.